Pilar, it's lovely to meet you. How are you doing?
Lovely to meet you. Thanks a lot for having me here today.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. So give us a little bit of background on who you are and what it is you do in the space.
Okay, my name is Pilar. As you hear from my accent, I'm originally from Spain, but I am between the UK and now Abu Dhabi since 1 month ago. I am the founder of a company called 𝐼𝐸𝐸𝐴𝐸𝐸𝐸, and what we do, we help health tech companies go to market better, faster, and with less risk.
Okay, so that's not at all an easy task. And do you have some specific framework which you've built for this? Dive into that for me a little bit.
Yes, I mean, I could tell you a bit, why I founded 𝐼𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸, after 20 years of working in technology commercialization.
Sure.
And the thing is that, for me, I think the biggest differentiator in technology is not necessarily the product, it's how you go to market. And to prove that, I saw recently a report that said that 95% of the businesses flop, crash, when they go to commercialize. So what that tells me is two things. On a macro level, that companies are better at selling equity than selling their business. And second, that we need to look in a different ways to how we commercialize products because there's something failing there. Yeah, in that spirit, that's how I launched 𝐼𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸, and we do use our own framework because we found that when we were working as well with the startups that all the methodologies out there are product-based, lean methodology, land and expand, and in healthcare you land and crash because every market is different, it's fragmented, you can't do that. So we take and adopt a market-driven approach that de-risks the launches and hopefully, will help companies monetize. And here we are.
Okay, so you tailor GTMs to specific geos, which is something that I think in your space especially is extremely hard, just because the regulatory landscape is so stringent, right?
And you avoid showing up in flip-flops to a Metro, Met Gala event. Well, you could do that technically, but what I mean is we always adapt to the market. But we don't adapt the commercial plans, which something for me is not really common sense.
Yeah, and this seems to be something which is very, very close to your heart, right? And what is it about this mission that really drives you?
I think is I know it's going to sound very serious in this event, but after shelter and food, education and healthcare are the biggest equalizers. And I see a lot of people who actually want to bring impact and do good things, but they think on a product basis, not on a business basis. And for something, to have an impact, it has to survive. It has to be sustainable. And it's in that spirit that I launched the company and this framework, which is something that you can do on a self-help iteration mode. So you can iterate, till you actually get rid of the two biggest risks of any startups or any business out there. The first risk is you work a lot on the product, and you're all dressed up, but you have nowhere to go because you are not needed, or the format you have is not needed, or wanted, or affordable, yeah? But even if you get the ticket to go to the Met Ball, sorry, is this flashy event?
It works.
Always, yes. Even then, you will find it very hard to get paid. To get paid not once, to get paid in a replicable way. And let's face it, for anybody out there who uses the word scalable, I never seen a scalable business models for health tech. So replicable is good enough for me, like domino effect. So this is the thing that we want to de-risk those two factors. And even so, you might flop. But at least you don't have blind spots. You have challenges. And I think, we work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and we have launched, apart from working with businesses to do that for them, we have also launched a go-to-market academy, and 450 companies have been through the program. And they are great. Once you tell them, that the key is not to have an answer for everything, but to ask the right questions, and why those questions are important, the transformation is amazing. And they're more clever than me anyway, so they will figure it out if they know what.
I think it's a question of perspective, right? And I think many entrepreneurs, myself included, sometimes are very much guilty of drinking their own sauce, right? Or maybe a little too much. And I think what you bring is a fresh look on things, right? And,
we flip it over. I'm originally from Spain, so we call it to turn the omelette, because I thought it's like, go to market is not where you want to go, is where you should go with that suit, that business outfit. And the thing, we tend to be very stubborn. Even myself with my business, I understand the psychology of that. But you need to fit into the market, because unless you are anti-Copernican, the world doesn't revolve around your product. You actually are part of a big ecosystem called market. And that's the only magnet that cares, especially the mercury that brings you to the area that most people find very difficult to find, the money. Who's going to pay?
Yeah, that is the most difficult question indeed. Who's got my money, right? And probably one of the most important questions to ask. But I think the fact that you've done this with 450 companies, right? I mean, that's a testament to your own success. And how have you dealt with all those egos? It's a lot of egos, no? To sort of route and
yeah, the thing is, like, I always open up. I work with accelerators that work really in deep tech. Like, these guys are amazing, and girls, by the way. There's a lot of women in science out there that, chapeau. I should also drum that. I always open up with one slide, like, what are you? And they all say, we are entrepreneurs, right? And then the second question I ask them, what does an entrepreneur do? And I put that definition from the dictionary, Collins. You have to prove always everything, that statement, yeah? I learned that. And basically, an entrepreneur is somebody that generates value, meaning money, yeah? So I always say to them, till you actually create a business that generates money, you will not be an entrepreneur. So let's look into that, and that's how we start normally the thing. And then all of a sudden I think, oh, I got too much focus on product. What about the other area? Because innovation, everybody thinks innovation, product. And that was fine 10 years ago in a lot of sectors, because it was so expensive 10 years ago to launch a product that only a few would do that, and when they go to the market, there will be a market waiting. Now there, like for instance in MedTech, there are 350,000 medical apps. That's only the apps. I'm not even talking about other things. Nobody's waiting for you. It's very busy. So the question is we need to take a different approach. We need to think on a business way. We do a lot of reverse sometimes engineering, commercial engineering, like let's forget about your product. What does the market need? Where, how? I mean, where do you go? Why? With what? With whom and how to make money? And then we create whatever is needed. One typical thing I think is this is the right environment to share this. Is like you have a lot of startups going SaaS, and selling to government or public sector. They don't buy that. Don't increase the risk of failure for you by telling them, please adopt something that you're not familiar with, and on top of that, we're going to change your procurement system. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, but egos, yes, I do have sometimes. Most people are reasonable eventually if you ask them the right questions, so they get to their own conclusions.
Yeah, but that's I think the hardest part, right? Like phrasing the question in a way where you make the person think that the idea of the solution is their own.
Oh my God, you sound like I'm manipulating. Slightly. It's a psychology game, but some people are lost cases. We do sometimes also look at companies for investors. We work with 2 family offices, and they said, well, can you do the commercial due diligence? And we look at basically the team, and if the team is not going to be flexible, adaptable, that's a problem. I've been working more than 20 years selling solutions across 6 continents, at all levels. I mean, my vanity, One Fire Vanity is on LinkedIn, you can check it out. Even I do not assume I know 1 or 2 things on that sector. Because what the situation now is intrinsically different from the situation 1 week ago. Look, we have the market. So, but what I'm good at is adaptivity. I'm very adaptable and agile, and I know a few tricks, to get the shortcuts. And these are the learnings that we should take to entrepreneurship. It's like some of them, when they think, okay, we need business acumen, they go to an MBA. Nothing wrong with the MBAs, but the MBAs still believe in something called static strategy. This is your B2B model.
This is your 5-year
That's how you're going
plan.
to dress. That's how you're going to dress. No, it's about situational awareness and adaptability that really takes the thing home.
Yeah, the school of life is a very, very different place. And to your point, right, the more I know, the more I realize how much I don't know. And
but that's good, because then you know your blind spots.
Absolutely. Should we all be so lucky, right? And Pilar, it's been an absolute pleasure. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. And if anybody is out there, please add me on LinkedIn, and glad to talk about commercialization. Thanks.